So are PlayStation about to stop porting their single player games over to PC? Well, Jason Schreier on his podcast that he has, I think it's called Triple Click, has been quoted as having a conversation with his co-host, and there's like this little rundown here of the conversation that happened and everything like that. So I'll go through that with you regarding this, and then I'll give you my thoughts afterwards. So if you do end up liking this video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and hype it if you can do. So let's get into it. So it says here, so Kirk Hamilton is the guy saying, so you can see some of the things coming from Sony as they, move to multi-platform, as they begin to sort of degrade what it means to have a PlayStation, because they're responding to that same force that we're talking about, that same maybe inevitable pressure of, consoles are just kind of going away and it's becoming a multi-platform world. What do you do with that when having Uncharted be a PlayStation exclusive used to be so important, so that you can see some of these pressures kind of being applied to Sony? So he just basically says here, does Jason Schreier, he says, I think for them, their strategy is like live service games are coming at PC, but I think the sense of getting is that they're backing away from putting their exclusives console stuff, like their traditional single player stuff, on PC. To which he's then basically asked, so let's just say, if hypothetically, do you think Ghost of Tsushima 3 is only going to be on PlayStation? To which Jason says, I do. And then he's asked about, there's more that goes on to that, and then he even says, like, Wolverine is coming in September. They just announced it's coming out September the 15th, and that's not going to be on PC. That's going to be on PS5 only. And then he says, I would not be surprised if it never came to PC. Now, to follow this up, he has then also gone to, I think someone's pulled it from X here, where he's basically said that it's not speculation, but sometimes topics come up on the show before I'm quite ready to publish a story about them. More to come soon. So this is something that he is obviously hearing behind the scenes, and there's a part of me here that's thinking, are we going to go back to this where like people have got like exclusives and stuff? Because I know that like Xbox is obviously putting all their games over on PC, PS5, everywhere, basically everything's in Xbox, do you know what I mean? But we did hear from their new CEO that basically nothing's off the table, and she wants to look at the data and stuff like this. So is Xbox thinking about going back to just having its exclusives? Like, you'll get the Halo 1 remake, but you won't get the Halo 2 remake on PS5. Like, is it going to become timed exclusive? I don't know. Like, me personally, like, I don't really know. Like, I know many people are kind of like, oh, there shouldn't be exclusives anymore, but that was kind of the point when we were growing up and stuff. People my age, like, you bought consoles to play certain games. Now obviously consoles are getting more and more expensive, so it's harder to have all the games and stuff like that. So it's basically a catch-22 in all fairness, but I do think that it is kind of coming to the point, like, what is the point of having an Xbox, basically, when all the games are coming to PlayStation? And then if all the PlayStation games are going to PC, then people who have PCs are not going to buy a PS5 because it'll just come to them eventually. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know, guys. It'll be interesting to see it happen, in all fairness. I do think that we may see some interesting stuff that comes out about this. But anyway, let me know down in the comments what you think about this, and I'll catch you in the next one.